Welcome back to part number 3 about your data, your backups, your storage, your devices, and all of that goodness. Today, we're going over the CFExpress card. We're going to talk about both type A and B though, because they're very similar. They're just different shapes and they fit in different ports. But if you haven't watched the SD card video, I would watch that because it essentially goes over everything we're going to go to on this today. And we'll probably skip over some parts that you can see in the other video in this to make it a little bit shorter and easier. So CFExpress cards are exactly like an SD card, just way faster and way more expensive. So the reason they're more expensive is because they're way faster. This write speed on this card is up to 1400 megabytes per second, whereas this card, SD card, was only 95. So you're getting way more speed for this card. And the reason you would use this card is because you need like a high frame rate with photo, or you have certain codecs and video that require a super high transfer speed. So for example, with my R5, when shooting 120 frames per second, requires this SD card or CFExpress card because it needs the fast write speeds, or else it will never be able to write that data to a regular SD card without damaging the file due to not being able to transfer it fast enough. It would dump some of the data halfway through the transfer and it would just not be great. Other times you may need this is if you have a camera with really high shutter frame rate, like the Sony A9 III. It shoots, I think, 120 frames per second photo shooting, which is absolutely insane. And you'll need one of these for sure, because shooting that many photos in that many seconds to a small SD card with really slow speeds won't cut it. So the main reason for a CFExpress is the speeds you need to use it at. Now, when would you use a CFExpress card versus not using it? And sometimes you only have the option of using a CFExpress card and a SD card slot, and you want to dual shoot, or say for photo. What I would do is just shoot both RAW to both devices, and then just keep your data on the SD card. That way you can delete the files off of the CFExpress card and reuse it, because these are really expensive to have multiple of, whereas buying multiple SD cards is generally pretty cheap. They're like 20, 30 bucks for a 64 gigabyte, whereas these are 600 for a 500 gigabyte card. So you definitely don't need to use this at all if you're just shooting normal photos on your camera. If you start getting into the higher settings, then maybe you should start using this card. But if you're gonna dual shoot, just use this as a secondary card. That might save you some money and some time and the ability to not worry about losing your data. So that's it for this card today. Again, if you wanna know more about classes and stuff, you can learn it on the SD card video, but we'll see you on the next one.